Hello, my name is Jemima Boone Calloway. I'm the daughter of Daniel Boone, and I have a story to tell. It took place back when I was a young girl in July of 1776. We were living at Fort Boonesboro, and I decided I wanted to escape the confines of Fort Life. You see, a piece of cane had stabbed through my foot and left it bloody and bruised. And so I decided if I went out on the Kentucky River, I could give it a soak. So I gathered my dear friends, Betsy and Fanny Calloway, along with me. And we went floating along on the river. But as we did, we found that there river was much stronger than us girls. And we floated over to the northern shore. It was there on the northern shore that we were set upon by a mixed band of Shawnee and Cherokee. One of them got into the water and grabbed hold of the canoe, while two others, they climbed into the canoe. And I screamed as loud as I could for my daddy, hoping he'd come to our rescue. Meanwhile, Betsy and Fanny, they took their paddles in the air and started bashing at their brains. But they grabbed their tomahawks, raised them as a threat and a promise. And we knew then we needed to go with. And so we did. But as we walked along, why, the pain in my foot, it was still present. So much so that finally I stopped and said, I will go no further, for the pain is so severe. At that, they looked at my feet and saw that they were bloody. They looked at Fanny's feet and saw that they were bare. And that's when they pulled out their knives. They grabbed hold of our skirts and started slashing at the fabric. We stood stone still, not knowing what was going to happen next. But then they gave us moccasins for our feet and wraps for our legs to protect us from the briars, of course. But we realized this was also so that we would travel farther faster. And as we went along, we pinched reeds, we broke twigs, we dug our heels into the earth, anything to leave sign for my daddy. And I began to think that one of the men was familiar to me. His name was Hanging Maw. And I sidled up next to him and I said, I'm Daniel Boone's daughter. At which he said, are these your sisters? And I said, yes. Lying, of course. At that, he laughed. Ha! We've done good by old Boone this time. What did that mean? You see, my brother James, why, just 3 years prior, when we were first trying to settle Kentucky, that's when he'd been set upon, and he was killed and tortured. Not always mentioning my daddy's name was a good thing. So after that, I walked on in silence. And as we walked along, we came across a pony. And they placed us on that pony's back. They started with me because of my ailing foot. And at that, I realized this will take us farther faster. And so I proceeded to fall from the horse's back again and again. So much so that they put Fanny on and she would fall, and then Betsy on and she would fall. Why, Betsy made that pony so irate it turned around and it bit her on the arm. They shooed it away after that. It had been 3 days, and there had been no sign of my daddy, and we were losing hope. We sat down by the fire. And as we did that evening, why, the Indians were cooking some buffalo hump. And one of them went to light his pipe in the fire. And as he did, all of a sudden shots rang out and blood burst from his chest. And I jumped up and I said, that's Daddy. And he yelled, get down. And we got down. There was a skirmish about. And as it went on, why, Betsy, she ended up getting restless. So much so that she raised up and her dark hair was flowing in the night. She looked like one of them. So much so that one of our rescuers took the butt of his rifle and was about to bash in her brains when all of a sudden my daddy goes, stop. Don't kill her when we've come so far to save her. It was then that we realized that the skirmish was over, and two of the Indians did lie dead and others had disappeared into the woods. But we did not pursue. Instead, we had a really good cry. See, that's when my daddy became my hero, as did the other men from the fort, 3 of which, us girls, married the year next. That, my friends, is my story.